You're not being broken. You're just being reached. They don't need to break you. They just need to reach you. Not with violence, not with logic, just with access. A certain tone, a delayed reply, a glance that feels off. And suddenly, you're reacting. You're adjusting. You're explaining. You're triggered. Not because they hurt you, but because you never closed the port they accessed. That's how control works now. Not through domination, but through proximity. You don't collapse because someone attacks you. You collapse because someone reads you. And when they read you, they can write the next move for you. You'll say too much. You'll change your plan. You'll abandon stillness just to feel seen. But here's the shift. Power doesn't respond. T reroutes. Power doesn't need to be read. Power closes the door, quietly. Cold isn't distance, it's data control. Being clear isn't arrogance, it's filtration. Being untouchable isn't about distance, it's about design. Because when they can no longer find a way in, they can't move you. They can't bend you. They can't use you. Cold isn't cruel, it's psychological insulation. You've been told that being cold is wrong, that it means you don't care, that it pushes people away, that it's unkind, unfeeling, inhuman. You're not a broadcast, you're a secure channel. Because cold isn't about apathy, it's about access. Being cold doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't broadcast. You don't signal your insecurity through over-explaining. You don't hand over your emotional system in the name of being understood. You don't collapse your boundaries just because someone wants to talk. You hear, you observe, but you don't let anyone plug into your core. That's not disconnection, that's design. Warm is open. Warm is available. Warm gets hacked. Cold is clear. Cold is quiet. Cold is unreadable. And being unreadable is what protects your clarity. Because when people can't read you, they can't reach you. And when they can't reach you, they can't redirect you. The ones who call you cold are usually the ones who can no longer extract a reaction. They say you've changed, that you don't feel the same. But what they're really saying is, I lost access. And that's the point. You're not here to perform openness. You're here to protect signal, to remain in command of what gets in and what never reaches your system. So stop associating cold with cruelty. Start seeing it for what it really is. Psychological insulation from emotional theft. Signs. You're too readable, too reactive, too easy to move. You think being understood makes you safe. You think being expressive makes you honest. You think being real means showing everything. But here's what that really creates. Access, predictability, control points. When people can read you, they can move you. When they know what triggers you, they don't need to overpower you. They just need to touch what's exposed. And here's how you know your system's wide open. 1. You over-explain when things feel off. A moment of silence, you fill it. A strange look, you clarify. A misinterpretation, you talk and talk to fix it. But you're not fixing anything. You're leaking source code in real time. 2. You react immediately to subtle emotional shifts. They withhold a reply. You spiral. They raise a brow. You adjust tone. They seem distant. You try harder. You've outsourced stability to external feedback. That's not connection. That's compromise. 3. You overshare under pressure. Someone shows interest, and suddenly, you start disclosing things you haven't even processed. Not because you trust them, but because you feel seen. And that's enough to make you leak your data. 4. You take correction as rejection. A challenge to your opinion feels like a threat. A lack of praise feels like a personal slight. You can't separate feedback from identity. So you defend, overcompensate, collapse, all visible, all traceable. And when that happens, you're not being real. You're being remote controlled, not strong, just exposed. Cold mind doesn't hide emotion. It decides where emotion ends and where access begins. And when you know that line, you don't need to defend it. You just don't let people close enough to press it. Clarity doesn't come from expression. It comes from strategic silence. You've been trained to talk it out, to speak up, to be clear. But here's the paradox. The more you explain, the less control you keep. Because clarity isn't output, it's encryption. You don't gain power by saying the right things. You gain power by knowing when to say nothing at all. Not because you're scared, but because you've filtered what deserves to be released. Most people confuse communication with self-protection. They talk to correct misunderstanding. They explain to avoid misjudgment. They defend to feel in control. But every word is a data leak, and every clarification is a vulnerability ping. The cold mind doesn't fear being misunderstood. It expects it, and still says less. Because silence, when used intentionally, forces the world to process itself without pulling you into its chaos. You think you need to explain, but most people aren't asking to understand. They're scanning for soft spots. They're testing access points. They're observing emotional shifts. The more you speak, the easier it is to read the map. But when you pause, hold, decline to perform, you become unreadable. And unreadable is untouchable. Clarity isn't given. It's withheld for precision. It's the ability to stay rooted even when others demand a reaction. So next time you feel the urge to clarify yourself, to share more, to prove your side, pause. Because maybe the most powerful thing you could say is nothing at all. Cold presence. 3 tactical steps to become unreadable. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to prove to be untouchable. What you need is presence that protects itself. That's cold presence. Strategic. Silent. Unreadable. Here's how it's built. In 3 steps. 1. Reduce access. Not everyone needs to know how you feel, what you plan, where your mind goes when things get tense. Start filtering. Who earns access logs? Who gets reactions? Who gets silence? Because every emotional signal you release trains the system how to move you. If they don't know where you stand, they can't pull you off center. 2. Shorten expression. Speak less. Say just enough. And stop narrating every shift inside you. You don't owe the world your inner dialogue. You don't need to preface, explain, defend. Your silence is a filter. Minimalism is a signal throttle. Let your tone be clean. Let your timing be sharp. Let your energy say, I'm not accessible. 3. Delay disclosure. When you speak too soon, you give people real-time data. And real-time data means they can adjust. So don't reveal intent. Don't show discomfort. Suppress telemetry until stability is confirmed. Wait. Breathe. Hold the frame longer than they expect. Then move, if you still choose to. Because power doesn't live in urgency. It lives in restraint. This is cold presence. It doesn't defend. It doesn't predict. It doesn't entertain. It simply exists, with boundaries too quiet to argue with. And that's why it can't be touched. Final message. Untouchable isn't a wall. It's an access protocol. Being untouchable doesn't mean you're hard. It means you're hard to access, not because you shut down, but because you filter entry. Not every ping gets a packet back. That's not avoidance. That's architecture. Unreadable doesn't mean hidden. It means unindexed. You're unreadable because you've stopped leaking. You feel, you think, you move, but no one knows how until you've already decided. That's not mystery. That's system design. Cold doesn't mean empty. It means unavailable to manipulation. Clear doesn't mean blunt. It means sharp enough to cut the noise. And untouchable doesn't mean distant. It means your architecture rejects unauthorized rights. So ask yourself, are you trying to prove who you are? Or are you becoming someone who no longer needs to be decoded? Because when people stop knowing how to reach you, they stop being able to move you. And that's when control returns to center. In the next video, we'll break down how people test your access, emotionally, socially, and subtly, and how to pass every test without ever reacting. Subscribe. Don't defend. Don't explain. Don't leak. Just become untouchable.